We think broadcast is still going to be a strong sector for a long time to come. Various people say, oh, broadcast is dying, but I don't think it's going to happen in a hurry, and there's more and more channels, so for people like us who do a lot of channel branding and broadcast, there's plenty of work, you know. Anyone who's half decent in this sector is busy, I think, so we like to mix it up, so we do some like real high-end brand stuff like Xbox One, or we've done Google Fiber, we've done EE motion brand package, and then it's nice for the group to do something like that, and you do something that's quite hardcore branding, you'll create all the guidelines, and there's lots of deliverables, and it's all quite kind of strategic and logistics, and then follow that with something that's maybe a bit more of a kind of throwaway, short-term, trend-based campaign for Nike, something that you know is got a 3-4 month shelf life, and you're just pushing a certain product, and it's a little bit more eye candy maybe, but that's what it's supposed to be. So it's nice to flip between the two, and then I think that's where we're lucky that we can go from something that is a hardcore brand into something that is a little bit more eye candy, sort of narrative storytelling, and then into something that's a channel brand, which is different again because it kind of pulls all those things together, because you've got your graphic design element to the kind of on-screen presentation, menus, etc. And then you might do the idents in live action, or you might do them in CG animation. So I think we're lucky that we get a nice bit of variation across the board. I think everyone feels like budgets are constantly shrinking, but I don't think the fields we work in haven't been as affected as aggressively as music videos or something like that. Our field as kind of motion design, if you like, is growing. So large companies are allocating more of their annual spend to our area instead of seeing it as an afterthought. So, you know, I think budgets are workable, but again, we work on the basis, well, if we don't think we can do something, meet the client's expectations with the budget they offer us, we'll politely say it's not for us, and we generally try and keep it fairly ambiguous how big we actually are. And part of the thinking behind the name when we began was it sounds quite powerful. It's, you know, there were other names that were kind of nicer sounding and stuff, but when you wrote them down and put them on a piece of paper next to each other, ManvsMachine just kind of looked like a strong name. So that was part of the thinking. It felt quite big, and we didn't want to appear like kind of a student collective or anything like that. So it was we wanted to be the real deal kind of thing. So I think quite often people, particularly stateside, think we're bigger than what we actually are, which we take as a massive compliment. We favour the kind of full-time team approach because we know exactly where we stand, and we know what we're capable of, and we know what our capacity is. But there are, here right now, there's sort of 2 or 3 freelancers who we really trust and we use often, but we'd never just balloon like that, because it's not our business model, because then we lose the quality, or it's an unknown, and we're just not willing to take that risk. But that's where we collaborate with other studios who we trust. Large clients are less frightened to work with smaller studios because, as I say, I think that they understand how it works nowadays, and I think people are starting to realise that all those layers that they were being charged for before weren't necessary. But there always will be some clients who stick to that, and that's what they know and that's what they like. So I don't think it's going to be a radical revolution that happens in the next 5 or 10 years where small companies are taking over the world, but it's no coincidence that the likes of the Mill are starting Mill Plus, which is basically a direct competitor for us. There's definitely more of a trend of large companies mimicking small companies than the other way around at the moment. That would be my advice to anyone doing it. Never try and mimic anyone, because there's companies who we look up to massively in our industry, like Book, PsyOp, and but they're a different beast to us, and we pitch against them quite regularly. But you should never start pretending to be somebody else, because then it's not you. Your style should be derived from the people who work at your studio, not from trying to be Book. So if you're working kind of truly to the strength of the people in that studio, that will become your style. Anyone who kind of tries to force a style or chooses a style based on, okay, I want that to be my style, then it's contrived, and I don't think it's a good way to do it. So it's best to just do what you do naturally and pray to God that somebody wants to pay for it.